All right, we're live. So we got a special stream today. This is going to be I'm going to read a little comic book I received from Canada. And this comic book is by Don Sparrow. Now, Don is the one that I commissioned. He cartoonified me for my profile pics. So here's a blank background, and then he mathed it up. So this is my profile pic I use for pretty much everything, like even at school on WebEx and all that stuff. I also commissioned him to do some Alf-inspired cartoony art. So this is Nick and George. They do the Alphathons. So this is Nick and George in the style of American Gothic with Alf up there in the attic. Oh, sounds like my coffee's done getting warmed up. And then here's Nick and George as Melmacians. All right, so incredibly talented. And he came out with a comic book, hand-drawn, hand-lettered. And it's supposed to be kind of like a little slice of life about growing up in Canada. So I thought that'd be something interesting for folks. I know Butler's probably sleeping, but he's from Canada, so it might resonate more with him than us. I mean, I don't know. We're going to find out because I haven't read it yet, so we're going to read it on stream. So I'm going to take a quick break and reconfigure my monitors so I can see the monitors while I do this. And yeah, Clown, this will be a bedtime story for you, Clown. All right, so we're going to take a quick break while I reconfigure the monitors and grab my coffee, and then we'll get going. Okay. Here we go. Nice little card there. Here it is. Waiting for Wednesday by Don Sparrow. All right, so this is all hand drawn and hand lettered. To Carl, thank you for your friendship and support. Don Sparrow. It's autographed. How cool is that? Now, I don't know when this is set. I'm thinking like maybe late 80s, early 90s. So, you got all the things, right? High school-y. I think this is kind of set in high school, if I remember right. You got your combination locks, the old GM keys before they had buttons and stuff on them. Famous players, Capital Cinema, Bazooka Gum, TV Guide, right? I mean, geez, TV Guide, does that even exist anymore? Looks like you got some lottery numbers. Exercise book. This is probably something Butler would recognize. Waiting for Wednesday by Don Sparrow. Entire contents copyright 2022. Saskatoon. First edition. Here we go. Let's jump in. So let me see. I'll read it. It's kind of blurry, but the lettering here, that's hand lettering. It's not typed. I fixed the focus on my camera. Might have been a mistake, but here we go. I don't know why I thought it was so important to have a girlfriend. I grew up poor. I was bullied in grade school. There you go. Chef Boyardee, beef ravioli. Clown, you're a Chef Boyardee fan, right? At a lot of schools, I think it's typical for the poorer kids to become the bullies. The more unequal things feel for a kid in a social setting, the more likely it is they'll use aggression as a means of evening things out. Not at my school. At my school, the cruelest bullies were the princes of the city. The son of a renowned oncologist. The grandson. Oh, here comes Norvina. I know. She going to come on the camera? I think Norvina's coming to read the book. Here she comes. Okay. the grandson of the owner of the city's most expensive restaurant. If you didn't live on the city's most expensive street, if you didn't wear the right brand of shoes, if you weren't one of them, they would let you know in the most devastating terms. Holy crap, it's a dead bird. That life and those people would always be out of reach. So maybe all of this factored into how much I wanted a girlfriend in high school. Maybe it was about proving to others that I was like everyone else. Maybe it was about proving it to myself. But as much as I wanted a girlfriend, the actual prospect of going about it was terrifying to me. And this was long before texting or even before most computer chatting became commonplace. If you wanted to talk to a girl outside of school, you actually had to find her or find out her number and call her on the telephone. The process was so nerve-wracking for me that I would create a built-in reward for myself, which I know is completely backward. Talking to the girl you like is supposed to be the rewarding part. I'd place a tall glass of ice-cold Coca-Cola at one end of my dining room table, far out of reach of the telephone from where I'd be making the call. I didn't allow myself to touch it until after the call ended. So no matter how disastrously the phone call would go, I would have that frosty glass of Coke waiting for me. And here comes Cooper. Here he comes. Is he going to go on camera or not? Oh, he's nudging the camera. There's Cooper. Okay. Is this your book now, honey? Yeah. What a good boy. Okay, come here, sweetie. Come here. I know, that's your keyboard too, isn't it? Come here, sweetie. You just going to camp out here? Oh, my goodness. Now Rooney's here. He wants the pets. Come here, Coop. Come here, sweetie. Oh, let's get you over here. Oh, okay. All right. Come here, sweetie. Can you want to go over there? You want to come on my lap? What do you want to do? I think he's just going to sit there. Or not. Cooper. That's Cooper. And if the conversation went great, I wouldn't mind if the Coke got watered down from the slowly melting ice in the glass. Oh, Cooper here hiding. No. That's the camera. Sweetie, can I get you? Can I get you? He's a big boy now. Oh, I'll put him over here. But still, getting myself to that point took a lot of psyching myself up. It was so much easier just to not bother taking the risk. Just to spend my evening watching Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, and David Letterman. Ah, okay, so now this is going to help us date this. Now I'm assuming in Canada, so, well, let's find out. Sabrina the Teenage Witch shown in Canada. I'll just see when it was when it was made. Oh yeah, so we're looking like mid to late 90s, I think. But in grade 11, I fell hard for a girl in my enriched English class. Though she'd been in my grade the whole time, it suddenly occurred to me how cool she was. Not the most popular girl, not even necessarily the most beautiful girl, but funny and had her own thing. One of her most attractive features to me was he had an English accent, which was like catnip to a self-identified Anglophile of debatable British heritage like myself. I grew up watching Doctor Who and English comedies on PBS here in the States, so yeah, I totally get that. But the coolest thing about her was her name, Julia Caring. Julia, like the Beatles song, and her last name was Caring. Such a lovely romantic word. How do you not fall for a girl with a name like that? I first made non-committal attempts to let her know I liked her in typically cowardly fashion. At Christmas time, I drew her portrait from the yearbook on a Christmas card. But then, to create plausible deniability, also gave Christmas cards to about a dozen of my friends. Ah, see? And just to be safe, a couple of strangers. Look at the expression there. I think Don does a great job capturing expressions. In the springtime, though, I decided to be a little bolder. There was a dance coming up, and I resolved to ask her to go with me. I made all the necessary preparations, which amounted to looking up her last name in the phone book. I knew she took the bus home with my friends, Craig and Raheel, and that they both lived in Lakeview. So when I found a listing of a Paul Caring in Lakeview in the phone book, I knew that had to be her dad. The plan was I would call her Monday night, 2 weeks before the dance. It was soon enough that the dance would be on her radar, but not so close that to the dance that someone else might ask her. The night before school on Monday, I hardly slept at all, in nervous anticipation of both the actual call that was to take place that night and also the implications of an actual date with an actual girl. Monday morning, I awoke to my clock radio playing Lisa Loeb's Waiting for Wednesday. I took it as an omen. I couldn't call her that night, having hardly slept at all. I wouldn't be funny, I'd freeze up and I'd weird her out. It was a sign. I was waiting for Wednesday. I didn't even know that was a song. That's past my time. Past my time. Having made up my mind that no matter what, Wednesday would be the day, I felt peace. Monday and Tuesday flew by. I slept fine Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, I woke up to the radio news block. Saskatoon has a new millionaire. Owner of Redhead Old Fashioned Hamburgers, Paul Caring, won just over $2 million on a lottery ticket bought at the 8th Street and Clarence Avenue Esso gas station. Now, there's Esso, of course. I think Esso had the dinosaur. But there you go. Now, he waited to Wednesday, and now she's thinking he's only going to ask her out because she's a millionaire. That is how the universe works sometimes. Oh, that is classic 90s hamburger place, right? We had I think it was called Rax. Oh. Do you see what that is, chat? That's Wendy's. Get it? Redhead hamburgers. Nice work, Don. I see what it is now. Yeah, that's classic Wendy's from the 90s. For a moment, I thought maybe, just maybe, despite Julia's dad being the only Paul Caring in the phone book, that there could be another, different Paul Caring who had just won the lottery. They interviewed him, and sure enough, English accent just like Julia's. On the day I had planned to ask Julia to the dance, it was announced her family had won the lottery. I had so many thoughts about this. If I asked now, would she think I was only asking because she won the lottery? At school, she was swarmed. I heard her talking with throngs of people surrounding her about how they'd actually won it weeks ago, but they waited for the media to announce before they could tell people. I couldn't get near her. Maybe it was the experiences of my childhood altering my perception, but something had shifted. She, too, was out of reach. That's tragic. It wasn't long before she had a boyfriend, someone who better matched her new social stratum. I developed new crushes and went on a few dates, but I always did wonder what might have been had I taken the bat off my shoulder and asked Julia days or weeks before the lottery announcement, or even after. Would she really have assumed my interest was only because of her family had won the lottery? But I did learn my lesson not to wait too long to call the next girl, or to place too much meaning in a random song on the radio, even if it were a song from someone as cool as Lisa Loeb. And that's it. Don Sparrow is a creative professional who trained at the University of Saskatchewan before moving on to Canada's prestigious Sheridan College, where he completed a postgraduate course in advanced illustration. In his spare time, Don writes plays, reads comics, and plays baseball. He lives in his prairie home with his loving wife Heather and their sparkling children. That's a great way to describe your kids, sparkling. You can see more of his work at www.donsparrow.com. Check it out. There's a little sparrow there. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Don Sparrow's work. I've commissioned work from Don, and I thought this is a nice little book. There's a lot of attention to detail here, and once again, I think I saw a little news blurb about it because I follow him on Twitter and Facebook, and the fact that this is all hand lettered really speaks to the dedication as a craft. So this is going to be one of my treasures. I may be back a little later doing my usual stuff if I can get my webcams to work out. We'll be back doing a little Dark Souls. But Clown, you said you were headed off to bed, so hopefully you're sleeping now and you get a good sleep in. And to everyone else that may be lurking out there, if I don't see you later on today, have a great rest of your Saturday. That's it.